Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a topic that, well, I think it's safe to say touches all of our lives in some way.
Relationships.
Relationships, exactly. But instead of the usual advice and tips we hear all the time, we're going way deeper.
Yeah, we're going to explore how relationships actually evolve over time.
hmm
How they change and grow.
Think of it kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at love, personal growth, all of that good stuff.
Exactly. And to guide us on this journey, we'll be taking a close look at a conversation between Jay Shetty and his wife, Radhi Devlukia-Shetty.
From their podcast.
Yeah, from an episode of the Jay Shetty podcast. What makes their conversation so compelling is their honesty.
Right. They're not afraid to get real about the highs and lows of being together for 10 years.
They've faced a lot of big transitions, moving across countries, states, new homes.
Oh, and dealing with the pressures of Jay's success, as his platform grew.
Yeah, all things that can put a strain on any relationship.
So how did they navigate those challenges? How did those experiences shape their relationship and who they are today?
Well, that's what we're here to uncover.
Okay, so let's rewind back to the beginning. What initially drew Jay and Roddy to each other? What sparked that initial attraction?
Roddy highlights Jay's consistency. She loves that he's the same genuine person, whether he's in front of a camera or just hanging out at home.
That's huge. Consistency is such a powerful foundation in any relationship. It builds trust. You feel secure knowing your partner is reliable, true to themselves.
Absolutely. And Jay was drawn to Roddy's humor and her ability to make him laugh.
Yeah.
That lightheartedness.
I get that completely. Being able to laugh together is so important.
And he also talked about her acceptance, that feeling of being able to be completely himself without judgment.
Yeah, that resonates with me too. We all crave that kind of acceptance in our relationships, that feeling of being able to truly be ourselves.
It's freeing.
It is. But relationships aren't static, right? They evolve. Did those initial feelings of love change over time for Jay and Roddy?
Definitely. But in a beautiful way, Roddy describes it as a deepening and evolution of those early feelings.
Interesting. So it's not about those initial feelings fading away, but about them transforming into something even deeper.
Yeah, and she talks about being particularly moved by Jay's own journey of self-discovery over the years.
So she's not just witnessing his success, but also his personal growth and evolution.
Right, and she finds that incredibly attractive.
That makes so much sense. It suggests that love isn't just about finding the perfect person, but also about growing alongside each other, embracing those individual journeys of self-discovery.
It's about becoming better together.
Exactly. Now let's talk about some of those big life changes they faced together.
Moving across countries, states, adjusting to new homes, and then navigating the pressures of Jay's rising success.
I mean, those are huge transitions, can really put a strain on any relationship. How did their relationship weather those storms?
This is where it gets really interesting. Roddy shares a surprising revelation. She says she's never once complained to Jay about not spending enough time with her.
Wow, that's impressive. Especially considering his travel schedule and demanding career. How does she do that?
She attributes it to finding her own sense of self and not being codependent.
So it's about having a strong sense of individuality within the relationship.
Exactly. She's created a fulfilling life for herself, which allows her to be supportive of Jay's pursuits without feeling neglected.
That's a powerful lesson. It's not about being selfish. It's about being whole so you can show up as your best self for your partner.
And that, in turn, allows you to truly support them.
Absolutely. So their ability to adapt to these changes actually strengthened their bond.
It did. They've learned to appreciate the consistency of their connection, that core understanding they have, even amidst the external chaos.
That's beautiful. It's like their connection is the anchor that keeps them grounded no matter what life throws their way.
And it's a testament to their commitment to each other.
Okay, so speaking of understanding, let's talk about those relationship roles that Jay brings up.
The parent, partner, and child dynamic.
Yes. He mentions how we all play those roles in our relationships at different times. It sounds fascinating. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure, it's like a playful way to look at how we interact with our partners. For example, Roddy jokingly says that Jay's the parent when it comes to her diet, encouraging her towards healthier choices.
We all have those areas, right? Where we might need a little nudge from our loved ones.
Totally. It's like having a built-in accountability partner. But the key here is that these roles aren't fixed.
So it's not always one person as the parent and the other as the child.
No, it's fluid.
Yep.
It's not about power, but about recognizing how the roles naturally shift depending on the situation.
So give us an example of how those roles might shift.
Well, Roddy admits she has moments where she needs extra attention or feels maybe a bit moody, taking on the child role. And Jay's there to provide reassurance and support.
So he steps into that parent role, providing that sense of security and comfort.
Exactly. And it reminds us that relationships are about being able to lean on each other.
To let your guard down and embrace those vulnerable moments without judgment.
And then, of course, there's the partner dynamic, which is about being equals.
Supporting each other's dreams, celebrating achievements, being there through thick and thin.
Precisely.
I love this concept. So how can understanding these roles help us create healthier communication patterns in our own relationships?
Well, think about it this way. If we can identify the roles we tend to play, we gain a deeper understanding of our own needs and how we contribute to the dynamics of the relationship.
So it's a tool for self-awareness.
Exactly. It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves and seeing how we show up.
That makes a lot of sense. The more self-aware we are, the more empathy and understanding we can bring to the relationship.
And that leads to more effective communication.
Okay, but let's be real. Even the healthiest relationships have their moments of frustration, right? No one's perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jay and Roddy don't shy away from that. They acknowledge those little annoyances that pop up in any relationship.
So what are some of their relationship pet peeves? Are there any deal breakers?
Roddy playfully complains about Jug's aversion to arguments. He always wants to resolve conflicts immediately.
Which can be frustrating.
Yeah, especially when she just needs to vent and process her emotion.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. Sometimes you just need to let it all out before you can even think about finding a solution.
Exactly. It highlights how we all have different conflict resolution styles.
Right. Jay is more solution-oriented, while Roddy needs time to express her feelings.
And understanding those differences is so important for navigating conflict effectively.
It's not about being right or wrong. It's about finding ways to meet in the middle and respect each other's needs.
Now, what about Jay? Does anything genuinely annoy him about Roddy?
Spill the tea.
Well, he admits to getting a little annoyed when Roddy shares personal stories on his podcast without giving him a heads up.
Oh, I can see that. We all have boundaries we like to maintain, especially when it comes to our privacy, even with the people we love most.
Exactly. But what's important is that they can talk about these annoyances openly and honestly.
Right, they don't let them fester or turn into resentment.
They address them with humor and understanding.
That open communication is key. It's about being able to laugh at yourselves, acknowledge your differences, and find ways to compromise without letting those little annoyances create a rift in the relationship.
And that's a skill that takes practice.
It does, but it's so worth it for the health and longevity of the relationship.
Absolutely. So while those little annoyances are part of any relationship, what truly matters is how you handle them.
And how you continue to grow and evolve together despite them.
Exactly.
So we've talked about their initial attraction, how their love has deepened over time, those big life changes they've navigated, and even some of their relationship pet peeves.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. But there's so much more to uncover about Jay and Roddy's insights on love and relationships.
Stay tuned as we delve deeper into their conversation in the next part of our deep dive.
We'll be back soon.
All right, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about this concept of a partner as a guru.
Yeah, I found that really intriguing too. It seems to go beyond the typical view of relationships and hints at something deeper, something more profound.
It's exactly. Jay argues that relationships are less about entertainment and more about education and enlightenment.
Education and enlightenment. That's an interesting way to think about it.
He draws inspiration from those Eastern traditions where a guru isn't like an authoritarian figure.
Right, it's not about someone telling you what to do.
It's more about a guide. Someone who helps you unlock your potential, helps you grow.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this applies to relationships. It's like viewing your partner as someone who believes in you, even when you doubt yourself.
Someone who pushes you to become the best version of yourself.
So it's not just about romantic love. It's about having that deep level of support and guidance.
Exactly. Like having a personal cheerleader and life coach all rolled into one.
I love that. Someone who sees your potential even when you can't see it yourself.
Now, how does this guru concept actually play out in their relationship?
Yeah, do they like sit down and have philosophical discussions every night?
Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
But Jay shares a powerful story about how Roddy embodied this guru role for him.
Oh, I'm curious. Tell me more.
It was when his career really started to take off.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that must have been a whirlwind of a time for both of them.
He admits that with all the success, he started to want Roddy to love him more for his achievements.
Which is understandable in a way. It's easy to get caught up in external validation, especially when you're in the public eye.
Yeah, and it's natural to want the people you love to be proud of you.
Exactly. So how did Roddy respond to that?
She didn't waver. She continued to love him for who he was at his core, not for his accomplishments or fame.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's like she saw through all the external stuff and loved him for the person he truly is.
That's unconditional love right there.
It really is. It reminds me of that saying, love the person, not the mask.
Exactly. And it sounds like Roddy helped Jay stay grounded and avoid attaching his self-worth to all that external validation.
Which can be so hard to do in today's world. It's easy to get caught up in likes and followers and all of that.
Right. But Roddy helped him remember what truly matters.
That's a powerful lesson for all of us. Our partners can be crucial in helping us stay true to ourselves and maintain a healthy perspective.
Especially when the world throws so many distractions our way.
Absolutely. So this guru concept, it's not a one-way street, right?
Oh,
now.
definitely not.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
Meaning,
Well, Roddy is also the one who gives Jay honest feedback, even when it's tough to hear.
she doesn't sugarcoat things.
Nope. She'll call him out on his ego, challenge him to improve his work.
That takes a lot of courage, especially coming from someone you love.
It does.
Hmm.
But Jay welcomes it.
He does.
Yeah, he recognizes that Roddy's feedback comes from a place of love.
Not from a place of judgment or criticism.
Exactly. She wants to see him succeed, and she's not afraid to tell him what he needs to hear to get there.
That's a key distinction, right? Criticism that tears you down versus feedback that helps you grow.
And I think it speaks to the level of trust they have in each other,
Yeah, they know that they can be honest with each other, even if it's uncomfortable sometimes.
because ultimately they both want what's best for each other.
Okay, so beyond this whole guru dynamic, another thing that really struck me was their approach to quality time.
How they prioritize quality over quantity.
Yes. How do they make that work, especially with their busy lives?
They believe that shared experiences, especially those that involve learning and growth, are far more valuable than just passively spending time together.
So it's not about sitting on the couch watching TV together, it's about actively engaging with each other.
Exactly. They mentioned some pretty unique date nights. They've had like escape rooms, pottery classes, even wakeboarding.
Wakeboarding, that's adventurous.
It is. It seems they prefer activities that challenge them and create opportunities to learn new things about each other.
And about themselves, right?
It's like they're actively choosing to be present and engaged with each other, even amidst their busy schedules.
That makes the whole idea of date nights so much more exciting.
It does, and it challenges us to think beyond just passively consuming entertainment.
It's about creating memories and experiences that strengthen the bond.
Now, what about staying connected when they're apart?
Yeah, because let's be real, they both have demanding schedules.
They emphasize the importance of daily check-ins, even if it's just a quick message or call.
Just a way to stay in tune with each other's lives, offer support, even when they're physically apart.
Exactly. And Jay suggests asking 4 key questions during those check-ins.
Oh, I love those little rituals that couples create. What are the questions?
What have you done for yourself today?
So starting with self-care. I like that.
Then, what have you got coming up this week and what support do you need?
Okay, so checking in about practical needs and offering support.
Is this relationship going in the direction you want? And how can we get it there?
Wow, that's a big one. Making sure they're both on the same page about the relationship.
And finally, what are your goals and how can I help you?
So powerful. It's about being each other's biggest cheerleaders.
Those questions cover so much ground, from self-care to relationship goals to offering practical support.
It's like a mini relationship checkup every day.
Exactly.
Oh.
But they also stress the importance of carving out dedicated quality time.
Whether it's a weekend getaway or a regular date night.
Right. It's about making the relationship a priority, even if it means scheduling it in.
Which can be so hard to do when life gets busy.
It can, but hearing them talk about it makes it clear that making that effort is crucial for the health of the relationship.
It's like anything else you want to nurture and grow, you have to put in the time and effort.
And they're not afraid to go deep during that quality time.
Meaning,
They have a ritual of taking 3 days every month to completely disconnect from technology and just be present with each other.
wow, this sounds amazing. Like a mini retreat for their relationship.
It is. It's
Yeah.
about prioritizing their connection above everything else.
Even technology.
Exactly. And this leads us to another key takeaway from their conversation, this idea of going beyond those typical relationship checklists.
Yeah, they talked about focusing on what truly matters. Connection, shared values, emotional intimacy, rather than just ticking boxes.
They encourage listeners to think beyond superficial criteria.
Like looks or status or whatever else people tend to focus on. Right? Instead, pay attention to how someone makes you feel, how you grow together, and how you support each other's dreams.
It's such a powerful reminder that the most fulfilling relationships are often those that challenge us to become better versions of ourselves.
It's about recognizing that a relationship is a journey, not a destination.
And like any good journey, it requires effort, communication, a willingness to adapt and grow.
Exactly. So it made me think back to when they were first starting out, 10 years ago.
Did they have like any specific criteria or checklists for what they were looking for in a partner?
It's interesting. They both admit they didn't have strict lists.
Really? So it was more about feeling it out, seeing the connection.
Yeah, for Radhi, the priority was someone who supported her spiritual growth and someone who could make her laugh.
Those sound like pretty solid starting points to me. What about Jay?
He didn't have a specific list either.
Huh.
Actually, he believes those checklists can actually limit your opportunities.
Limit your opportunities? How so?
He used this great analogy. He said it's like a sports team. You could have all the best players on paper.
But they might not actually perform well together on the field.
Exactly. Chemistry and compatibility, it's about so much more than just ticking boxes.
It's about that spark, that connection that you can't really quantify,
And it's about being open to discovering someone's true nature over time.
rather than trying to force them into a predefined mold.
Right. Because people evolve, relationships thrive when there's room for growth and change.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I'm curious about their goals as a couple for the year ahead. Did they mention anything specific?
They did. Both Jay and Radhi are prioritizing spending more quality time together.
Makes sense, especially with everything they have going on.
They want to travel more, have more shared experiences.
So it's about being intentional about creating those memories together.
And Radhi even acknowledged that she wants to be more proactive about actually scheduling that time in.
That's so relatable. It's easy to let life get in the way, but it sounds like they've learned how important it is to protect that time for their relationship.
They have. And I think it's a good reminder for all of us.
So as we reach the end of our deep dive, what are the key takeaways we can apply to our own relationships?
Well, it's clear that self-awareness, open communication, and active effort are crucial.
Those are the cornerstones of Jay and Radhi's relationship.
They've learned to embrace change, navigate challenges, and prioritize growth.
Both as individuals and as a couple.
They've also challenged us to see our partners as gurus.
Those guides who help us unlock our potential and become the best versions of ourselves.
Exactly. It's a beautiful way to think about relationships. It's about more than just finding the perfect person.
It's about embracing the journey of growth, discovery, and connection.
And it's about choosing to navigate life's adventures together.
On that note, we'll leave you with this final thought-provoking question. If your partner was your guru, what invaluable lessons might they be trying to teach you? Take some time to reflect on your own relationships and see what insights emerge. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.